So if it does happen, how do you know? How do you know when that takes place? Now, here's the question. Is that the ultimate progression of technology? Is the ultimate progression of technology transcending physical reality and becoming completely digital life? So if that is possible, how do we know if it hasn't already happened?
Yeah.
How can we know if it hasn't already happened?
Yeah.
Well, one thing I would say that if this world was scripted, it would be filled with a lot of shit that's exactly like what happened. Trump would get shot in the ear and say, fight, fight, fight.
Yeah.
You would have Elon Musk at the inauguration looking like he's on another planet.
Now, Joe, I just want to make the point here. You're making the argument for determinism.
No, I'm not. I'm making the argument that there's a conscious interface.
Yeah.
There's consciousness, and it's interfacing with something that's not entirely real, and that is the life that we're living in.
Yeah.
And we think it's way realer than it actually is.
Yeah. So is somebody in control of it, or they're allowing us to have some semblance of control?
I feel like it might be controlled by the actual things that are inside of it. So I think our destiny is truly in our hands. I really believe that.
I like that. And then if that is the case, how is that not real?
Well, it is real
Yeah.
in a sense, but I think that the actual way that things happen and work is dependent entirely on the level of consciousness that people have that are experiencing it. It sounds like very hippy-dippy and wooey, and it all comes from a lot of different things, but one of it comes from Tom Campbell, who wrote this like very fucking bizarre book that I've listened to on audiobook twice now.
Okay.
Where he's talking about essentially what we think of as reality is just a simulation.
Okay.
The whole entire thing is our consciousness interpreting everything as we experience it throughout the day. But when we are not here, that is not the same thing.
What do you mean when we're not here? When we die, you're saying?
Like when we're not, if you're not on Mars, is Mars real? Or is Mars something that we agree is real? We agree it's in a certain space and it'll only be there when we get there? Like if the universe is a true simulation, imagine what a mind fuck. You have a simulation where it's perfect in that it has all of these galaxies and supernovas.
Okay.
The moon aligns perfectly with the Earth to cause eclipses. And without the moon being there, our entire atmosphere would fall apart. And we would never be able to survive. So it's like this perfect little thing that's set right there. And we spin around and worry, which bathroom should we let the guy in a dress go to? And
Okay.
But meanwhile, it's just a show that's being put on for our consciousness.
Okay, so it's a show being put on for our consciousness, right? And then somebody's put on the show. And then we get the ability to go to the moon. And then they got to scramble and make a moon?
No, there's a moon. I mean, it doesn't matter. Wherever you go,
because that is kind of funny.
It's
like if like our technology gets so good and they're just going, fuck, we got to make this thing real. Like they're on the way.
I'm well aware if you're like criticizing me, this is a dopey way to describe it. But I you know, if the tree falls in the forest and there's no one there, does it make a sound?
Yes.
I don't even know if the tree falls if there's no one there. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced.
So the tree. Okay. So
I think if you take a trip to the Pacific Northwest, you will find trees.
Yes.
I just don't know if they're there all the time.
So they're only there in reference to us looking at them. Oh, I get what you're saying. Wait. So you're playing a video game. And as you move throughout the map of the video game, it presents itself.
Yeah.
But you're saying without us accessing it, it isn't presenting itself.
It might be the whole universe.
They're saving on data.
That might be the whole universe. The whole universe might be us interacting with something.
But they exist.
But it doesn't exist without us.
Yeah, and this is one of those things like, what does it matter either way?
But exists with us in this moment. Like if you jump off a cliff, you will die.
Yeah.
Like gravity's real.
Yeah.
You get pulverized.
Yeah.
No doubt. But
it's because you jumped.
It's also like your consciousness is the reason why all this is here.
Yeah,
because you're interacting with
that's
it.
the manifestation of everything, though. So I get what you're saying. Like
the structure.
Existentially, does it exist if we're not touching it, feeling it? It's what they say about like the Native Americans when they first saw the ships, they didn't know what they were.
Yeah, that's bullshit. That's not real.
Exactly. But like, but I wouldn't say that it's not real in that they didn't understand what it was. In the distance, they think they were like mountains moving closer.
They probably just saw these giant pieces of wood and was trying to figure out. They had structures.
They might not know it's wood.
But didn't they have structures?
I don't know if they're fishing at that time. I'm not sure. But if you see them in the distance, you see them moving forward.
Right.
I get the idea. Like your brain can't map what that is yet.
Right, you'd be freaked out.
So it's mapping to whatever you know. So it's like, oh shit, is it low tide? And there's some like sandbars out there that are slowly approaching. What the fuck is that? That's kind of what you're saying. We can't I can't understand like what a glacier is without knowing what it is. When I see a glacier for the first time, I can recognize glaciers everywhere. But if I take someone who's never seen a glacier to it,
I think this guy's going further than that. I think he's saying the glaciers aren't real unless you're there.
But if someone is there at every point in time throughout the world, then everything is.
Yes.
And we have enough people where there's some people in Antarctica. All right, so Antarctica's always there. There's some people in Alaska. Okay, so that's always there. If we have enough people throughout the world is this congealed substance that we can look at, feel, touch, and experience.
Yeah, and it might be like the map of the game is like those NASA satellite photos of Earth. That's the map of the game. Like if you wanted to like go through a video game, and before you go through the game, it shows you like these are the arenas in which you're playing.
And you can choose one of them?
You could choose one, or you know which level you're going to.
Yeah.
Like that's those NASA 3D photos of the Earth. That's what Earth is. Earth is like the place where we play this consciousness game.
When you're sitting at home and you're like thinking about these things, do you like talk to your kids about it?
No, that's too weird to talk to kids about.
What about your wife? Are you like just going, hey?
She would go, what?
Yeah, okay.